You're on mute.
Sanju wants to mute me.
As always.
As always.
I'm sure he won't succeed.
I know. He knows that too. Hi, Smita.
Hi.
How are y'all? All good?
All good, all good.
કાર્તિક ક્યાં ફરે છે?
11:55 પછી અમે ત્યારે ચાલુ થાય.
He's enjoying his Sunday, huh? Hi, Rajni.
Hi, Smita. How are you?
All good. Nice to see everybody.
Yeah.
Guys, we'll start the meeting.
Yeah, I guess we should, no?
Yeah, we should. Let's start the meeting.
So good morning, friends. I have Omkar with us today. Can you hear me?
Jessica, we have start the meeting with a national anthem. So
Okay.
We'll just take it after that.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So good morning, everyone. Welcome to the speaker meeting today. Very, very interesting topic. So let's, I call the meeting to order. Let's rise for the national anthem. Let's raise our hand for the national anthem. So good morning, everyone. Nice to see everybody on a bright Sunday morning. A very interesting topic today. And we thank Jessica, our new member, for introducing the speaker to us. Jessica?
Yeah. So good morning, friends. And we have Omkar with us today. He's an architect by profession. And he also belongs to Master Chokoksui's Pranic Healing School. He conducts various workshops on pranic healing, and is not to mention that he's a great pranic healer himself. I'm saying this from my own experience. Also want to add that he has a in-depth study of theosophy, and today he's going to speak to us on the topic of death and beyond. So let's hear from Omkar. Omkar?
Hi everyone, namaste. So thank you so much for the introduction. Do you guys want to dig in directly, or is there any more? If you all want to wait or ask questions about the topic.
We can start, Omkar, and then we can take the questions after your talk.
Okay. So we shall begin. We'll start with a small invocation, because when you study something spiritual or something beyond physical, it's always nice to start with a small prayer, and we ask for divine guidance, help, protection, and also an increased capacity to learn, absorb, assimilate whatever we learn or whatever we discuss. So you guys can close your eyes, inhale and exhale. Be aware of the center of your chest. Be aware of the heart chakra. As you inhale and exhale slowly, you notice your mind, your emotions become more and more peaceful. That is your heart chakra, instilling the peace, the calmness, and the love within you, within all of us. Very gently move your attention to the crown chakra on the top of your head. Inhale and exhale slowly. Try to feel the peace, the calmness becoming deeper, stronger. To the Supreme God, to the Divine Father, Divine Mother, to all the great spiritual teachers and spiritual elders, to all the beings of light, all the healing angels, healing ministers, to our souls, to our divine selves, we humbly invoke your blessings for your help, guidance, and protection, for divine light, love, and mercy. Thank you for blessing us with discernment, with an increased capacity to learn, absorb, and assimilate the teachings, the techniques. We thank you in full faith. With gratitude, with respect, with love, we thank you. Be aware of the blessings flowing down. Take a deep breath, inhale the blessings. Hold your breath. Allow the blessings to enter your body, your energy system. Absorb the blessings. Exhale. Once more, inhale, take a deep breath. Hold your breath. Share the blessings with all those who are present here and those who are yet to join us. Exhale. Once more, inhale the blessings, take a deep breath. Hold your breath. Share this with your loved ones, your friends, families, and all without exception. Exhale. You may gently open your eyes with a big, big smile. Okay, so we head into the session directly. I have a structure, a flow, so I'll quickly go through what all we're going to be talking about, what all are we going to do. Okay, so the first thing we'll understand is what happens when we die from a perspective of theosophy or a perspective of energy. Okay, from a physical perspective, we all know that the body dies and the person doesn't exist anymore. But from a perspective of the soul, that might not be true. That's just one tiny portion of the truth, right? So we will try to understand what happens from an energy perspective. We will also talk about the process of dying. Okay, why are we talking about the process of dying? Is because we are all going to die at some point, right? We're not immortal, physically speaking. From a perspective of the soul, we are immortal. So, what should you be looking out for? What should you do at that moment to make it a spiritual, liberating experience? What is the difference between a normal person dying and a great spiritual teacher taking a samadhi? Right. So, these are the points that we will discuss. Of course, you can make notes or you can ask me questions once the session's over. So we can actually have a to-do thing. And we'll also discuss how do you help a dying person. Like let's say a loved one is or they are really old and they're about to leave the body. So how do you aid the process? How do you make it a process that benefits the soul rather than just causing grief and pain for themselves and other people around? Okay, so these are something. And then we will also do an act of service where together as a big group, we will do certain rituals, certain prayers that will aid those who've already lost their life in the past one whole year, maybe. And they might still be in transition or they might still not have found peace. So we will do a small ritual or a prayer to aid them. So this is going to be the flow. My only request is y'all can ask your questions, as many questions as you like, but once we are done with the topic. So before moving on from one topic to another, I'll take small breaks. So if you have doubts, you need some clarity, you can ask then. I would just request do not interrupt in the middle because it breaks the flow and it also becomes chaotic in Zoom. In one-on-one, or if it's a actual class, it's different. But here, a lot of people can talk at the same time. It can get really chaotic. Okay, so let's start with a few requirements or a few disclaimers. What we share today is what we have learned through theosophy, through reading, through certain experiences. But what is expected from you is to come with an open mind, but a discriminating mind. Open mind means you take everything that we give you today as tentative truth. So this may or may not be. Let's figure it out. Instead of concluding, yes, this is the truth or this is not the truth, this cannot happen. So instead of having definitive ideas of what is not, come with an open mind where you're trying to explore the topic. Okay. And the second is discriminating mind. So you don't have to believe everything that we say. Okay. Everything that I shared today need not be taken as the truth, but it needs to be concluded by experiments, by experience, by various things that you can, various experiments you can do to conclude the findings. So this is requirement. It's called do not believe things blindly, but do not understand what are the various subtle energy composed of. We are
Omkar, we can't hear you.
Okay, is it better now?
Yes.
1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you so much for your patience. I think the internet is a little unstable. All right. So let's come back to what we were discussing. I don't know what time where I left off, so we'll start from the beginning. When you look at your physical body, do you think you are the physical body, or do you think you are beyond it? Okay. For example, blink your eyes. Can you blink your eyes? Move your hands, your fingers. Can you do that? Yes. So to think of it this way, who are you? Are you the hand that is moving, or are you the mover of the hand? right? You are the mover of the hand. You are the one who is doing the actions. Now, if you pick up an object, like pick up your phone, you put your phone down. Okay, your phone moved, but are you the phone? No, you are just the mover of the phone, right? Similarly, your physical body is like a vehicle of you, as we call yourself the soul or the consciousness. You are the mover of the vehicle. You are the user of this vehicle. Okay. Now, another question is, beyond the physical body, you have thoughts and emotions, right? These are very complex things, but let's simplify it a little bit. Think of an apple. Okay. So when you think of an apple, what are you doing? You're creating an idea or a thought of an apple. Do you become the thought? No, you are creating it or you are thinking about it. So, like a physical object, you create an energetic object, which is a thought form, and it has its own effects. Okay, for example, when you think of an apple, it also triggers memories of an apple or feelings of an apple. So, for example, some of us might really like an apple. Okay, so what feeling comes out of it is of happiness, of joy because you like it. Some people hate apples, so it comes as disgust and so on. Like, oh, I don't want it. It covers them up. So your thoughts and your feelings are products of the soul. So you create them. We, the soul, the consciousness, create our thoughts and emotions. So we are not that either. So what are you? What is left? You are the thinker, you are the mover, you are the feeler. So you're a being of divine intelligence, divine love, divine power. This is what is mentioned in the Bible. You are made in the image of God. Okay. But when you look at the image of God, God has no image. God is formless. So you, the soul, are also formless, but you are made in the image of God in the sense that you have qualities of God. Is God intelligent? Yes, at least theory wise. We might not have met him, but theory wise, based on all the books that talk about him, he's supremely intelligent. So, do we also have intelligence? May not be at the level of supreme intelligence, but at least we're all intelligent. That is the divine light aspect or the light of God that comes through us, manifestation of God within us. God is omnipotent, he can do anything and everything. He created the whole universe, or so to speak. Can we also do things? Can we create things? Can we move things? Can we do activities? Do we also have willpower? Do we also have a certain sense of power? Yes. So that is the will aspect of God manifesting through us. Then God is omni-loving, right? Or all-loving, all-merciful, all-compassionate. Are we also capable of loving? Are we also capable of compassion and mercy? So, in a matter of speaking, when the Bible says that we are all made in the image of God, it means that you are made in the image or the qualities of God. If God is omnipotent, so are you. If God is omni-loving, so are you. If God is supremely intelligent, so are you. It's just that we have to tap into these qualities. As these qualities develop, we become more godlike. So, for example, take a saint, for example, a highly evolved spiritual teacher or a saint. Do you think they're very, very intelligent? Yes. Do you think that they are very compassionate, very merciful and loving? Yes. Do you also think that they can do miracles, perform miracles, magic that normally is unheard of? So that's also the power manifestation. So as you develop your light, love, power aspect, you become more godlike. So your connection with God increases. And that is a gist of spirituality. But now, coming back to, we've understood who we are to a certain extent. The best way is to experience it, which might happen at different points in life. Okay. But coming back to this, you have a physical body. Like the physical body, you also have something called the emotional body or the astral body. I'm sure most of you have heard about this word, the astral plane or the astral body, right? So it is in Sanskrit called the Kama Kosha. This is the Anna Kosha, that is the Kama Kosha. Anna Kosha is basically the body that is sustained by Anna, food, whereas Kama Kosha is the body of emotions. Okay. So what happens to you as a soul when your physical body dies? It's like this: you have one layer of clothes, you just remove that. Okay. So do you still have your innerwear left? If we are wearing innerwear, that is. Okay. So the physical body is like one layer. When the time comes for your physical body to die, because it has a lifespan, the soul discards that inner layer, one layer. What's left is the next layer, which is the astral body. Okay, so you don't cease to exist as you die. Your consciousness is simply transferred from your physical body to your astral body. And then at the astral body, at the astral plane or the astral realm, you continue to exist and you continue to evolve and you continue to do things. For example, whatever you did in your physical life, if you were a businessman, you will have the similar traits and tendencies, and you will probably have an inner business. You might be doing work in the inner world, or you might continue to live your life the way you did in your physical plane. It's just that you don't have a physical body. Your physical body is kept aside. You continue to live in your emotional body. Okay. And the emotional body is a much freer body. It's a much more complex, but a lot more, uh, what do you say, flexible, and gives you, the soul, a lot more freedom than the physical body does. Example: physical body needs food. You need to sleep. You need to rest. You have to take care of it. You have to maintain the diet and various other things. Astral body, you don't need any of these things. You don't need to sleep. You don't need to eat. You can just continue to function tirelessly. You don't get tired in the astral body. The physical body has a certain weight to it. The astral body is much, much lighter. It's made out of energy or certain energy particles. So it's much lighter, it's much freer. You can express yourself in a much deeper way, in a much more accurate way than in the physical plane. Have you ever figured, sometimes you feel something and you're trying to put that in words, and you find yourself at loss of words? It's because your feeling, your thoughts are very, very complex, very, very different. But then when you have to trickle it down to physical words, physical expression, it's difficult because it's more complex. But when you're in the astral plane, you can express yourself freely. Your feelings can be shared to another person just as they are, without too much of distortion. You don't need words. Okay. So in essence, from a spiritual perspective, this is the life that a lot of spiritual disciples are trying to achieve in their physical plane. Okay, like outer body experiences and so on. You try to do this consciously, but most of us, not most of us, all of us, whether we like it or not, we actually have outer body experiences on a daily basis. It's just that we don't recall it or we don't understand it. Okay. For example, what happens when a person dies? The soul leaves the physical body, goes into the astral body, and never comes back. Okay. But every night that we sleep, we go to bed and we sleep, the soul also leaves the physical body, goes to the astral body, has an astral experience, but a portion of the soul is left back in the physical body, which is why it can come back. And this happens naturally. Okay. It's one of the most natural things to do, falling asleep. So what happens, what's the difference between when you are alive and when you're dead? When you're alive, a portion of your soul, which is fluidic in nature, is left in the physical body. And another huge portion has gone into the astral body. You move around, you meet people, you do things, and then you come back. And all the things that you do is recalled as dreams. Okay? So what you dream of is actually things that you've done or you experience in the astral plane. Whereas when you die, when the physical body dies, you leave this physical body completely. There's no portion of the soul left in the body. That's the difference. That means the body ceases to be alive because it's the soul energy or the light of the soul that keeps it alive. Are we clear so far? If you want to practice dying, you have to just practice sleeping. It's that simple. Okay. Now let's understand what is the difference between the astral plane and the physical plane. In the astral plane or in the astral body, your entire body is made out of energy. You don't have eyes, mouth, vocal cords, lungs, none of these organs. You don't need them because you don't need to breathe. You don't need to perceive things physically. But on the astral plane, the way you perceive is all around. You have cognizance that is very different from the physical plane. For example, in the astral plane, or when you're sleeping in your dream life, You're perceiving things in front of you, above you, behind you, on the sides simultaneously. You can process all of that information at the same time, which is why when you remember some of your dreams, it comes as a movie, the same scene from different angles. You know, when there's a movie scene where something is happening, then you also see it from another angle, 3 4 times. So it feels like the same thing is happening for a longer period. The same thing, if you're interacting with 2 3 people in the astral plane simultaneously, but when you're waking up and you try to remember that instance, your brain cannot register 4 5 things happening simultaneously. Your brain usually registers one thing at a time because it's used to seeing in front of you. It's used to perceiving things from the 3 dimensional perspective. So all that information comes into your brain at once. So your brain just makes it into images saying that this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. And then you have a confusion that, okay, all of this happened together, but how come they happen separately? So your perception of time gets distorted. Maybe that was a little too esoteric, but let's come back to something more simple. Now, let's talk about death and the process of dying. Okay. Do you have any questions of what we covered so far? I'll wait a couple of minutes so that you all can ask your questions. If not, then we move on to the process of dying. Okay, so no questions. Usually when there's no questions, you've understood everything or you've understood nothing. If it's going too high above, or if I'm talking a little too vaguely, please let me know so that I can readjust and reform my sentences. Because sometimes when you talk about these things, you get carried away and you get too excited, and you might say things that don't make sense. Okay, but we just need to readjust. So are you with me so far? I just need a little response from you all. Maybe a thumbs up, or if you're not with me, if you find it too complex, please let me know that as well, so we can adjust accordingly. Yeah, you guys are with me? Very nice. Okay, now we move on to the process of dying.
One question. Sorry. No, it's a quite nicely you are explaining. There's one because you mentioned about when in your dream you see like a movie, okay. But many times we see a lot of stuff in our dreams. What about us? What about others? Like our family member. And many times we, like a lot of people have experienced losing someone in our dream, okay. And when we ask this question, so I have this habit of asking my mom. So my mom says, no, don't worry, this person's life will increase because you have seen this dream.
Uh-huh.
So what, so somewhere I'm getting part that, okay, you mentioned about it, our own soul is actually getting into and feeling that. So it's our emotions which make us to have such kind of dreams because we are attached to that person, or how is that?
Okay. So the experience that you have from an emotional plane, on the astral plane, is based on how you are doing physically also. For example, have you all noticed that when you are emotionally upset, or if you're physically upset, like you have an upset stomach and you go to sleep, you tend to have nightmares, or you tend to have unpleasant dreams. Whereas when you're in a good space, when you're happy and then you go to sleep, you have very pleasant dreams, right? Because it's all connected to your emotions. When we talk about the astral plane, it's the emotional plane. So the emotions that you take with you as you go into the astral plane will design the kind of experience you have, right? For example, if you go to office with a very heavy hot head, you're very angry, upset about something, you go to office, of course you're going to bring that energy with you, and your experience in the office, even if everybody's happy, it'll still be unpleasant for you because you're filled with that anger. Vice versa, when you're filled with so much of joy and happiness, I mean, just say that, imagine you had the best day in the morning. Okay, you come to office and everybody's upset, but you just don't get upset with it because you bring in that happiness with you. You're already in a good space, you have more resistance. But then of course, if the upsetness continues, then it can also eat up your joy, and vice versa. So the dreams that we have are usually reflections, and what actually happens in the dream may not necessarily be true from the perspective of recalling the dream. Example is the brain that we use physically has a 3 dimensional capacity, okay? Whereas the astral plane is the 4th dimension. It is beyond our comprehension from a physical plane. You can perceive things inside out. You can move from one place to another in a fraction of a second. The laws of the physical plane don't apply equally on the astral plane, right? So the way you have an experience, for example, you meet someone who is extremely intelligent, okay, extremely funny and extremely intelligent, and you have an interaction with them. You might never have met them physically, but when you wake up, your physical brain cannot comprehend what happened there, literally. So it fills in the gaps by creating images of what you already know. For example, if you meet someone who's extremely intelligent, funny, who's probably a new person altogether, you don't know them, but your physical brain will associate someone you know already who's funny and intelligent, and they create that image. So you feel that I've met this person in my dream, whereas you actually met someone else. Okay, another example is, let's say you met a spiritual teacher, a great spiritual teacher, and they taught you certain spiritual techniques, meditations, and so on. You've never met the person, you don't know who that soul is. You've never met them physically. But let's say on a physical level, you have a certain guru or you have a certain spiritual teacher that you follow. Your brain will put the image of that guru onto the dream so that you feel you've met this person or you met this guru and this guru has taught you certain things. So this is the distortion. For example, if you travel to a place that is very, what do you say, scary, okay, it might, when you wake up, you might realize that you traveled to a place which you physically thought was scary. Maybe like a haunted house, or maybe some old building that you, or old hotel that you stayed in where you had some unpleasant experiences or you were scared. So you associate those instances, though they may not be linked. So that's why the dream is usually symbolic. Like when you have a dream, it's good to interpret it because it's not literal, it's more symbolic. There's certain experiences that you've gone through in your dream, and your brain fills in the gap which it can't understand or comprehend. But anyway, that's a very, very different topic. But let's come to a point where something that's very common. When someone dies in your family, I'm sure all of us have experienced death in the family, right? Or your loved ones, your friends, and so on. Do you notice that a lot of people, the living members of the family, end up dreaming of the person who's dead? Yeah, everybody says, "Oh, I saw him on my dream. I saw her in my dream." While they were alive, we never saw them. Now that they're dead, everybody starts seeing them. Okay, you know why?
They think about them.
Uh, one reason is yes, they think about them. But let's say your mom, okay, your mother or your very very close relative who you think about all the time, but they die, and then you suddenly start seeing dreams of them. The one reason is that you think about them because suddenly an incident has happened and they become the highlight, right? But the other thing is they exist in the astral plane. From the physical plane, they've just moved on to the astral plane. And when we sleep, we move on to the astral plane. So we're in the same place as they are. You can talk to them, you can interact with them, you can have a great time with them, you can play, you can watch movies. I don't know if that is a thing in the astral plane, but you continue to have your existence with them, and they exist right there. Okay. So in essence, let's say there is a floor that is a physical plane. Okay, you meet people, you talk to them, you interact with them. That is your physical being. Let's say someone has moved on to the second floor, which is the astral plane. So they no longer exist on the physical plane. Okay, so as long as you're on the first floor, you will never meet them. But every night you go to the second floor, you hang out with them, you talk to them, and then you come back to the first floor because you have to come back here. They don't have to come back. They continue to live life in the second floor and they stay there. Uh, can you relate this to an experience that you had? So when someone dies, you meet them or you start dreaming about them simply because they exist in the astral plane. And of course, the person who's died also loves you, right? If they're a loved one, they continue to love you. The love doesn't change. If they hated you while you were alive, they will continue to hate you. That does not change you as a person. It just makes you from a physical being to an astral being. Or from the physical existence, you just move to an astral existence. The person that you are, continue to be. If you're a spiritual person, you continue to be that. If you're a very loving person, you continue to be that. If you are a spiteful person, you continue to be that. Okay. So this is another learning for us. If just because someone has died and they come in your dream and give you instructions, okay, that do this, do that, sell this, sell that, etc., you still use your discernment. Just because a person has died does not make them evolved or doesn't give them additional spiritual powers. Okay, if they were a cunning person while they were alive, they're a cunning person even now, you still proceed with caution. But if they were a highly evolved person and they had strong intuition and they used to give you guidance, or they were wise people while they were alive, they will be wise people, then you listen to them. Okay, so that gives you a little perspective. Now let's talk about the process of dying. Okay. When the person is about to leave the body, usually for everybody, almost everybody, there is an angel of mercy that is present over there. Okay, so this is an energetic being. In the English tradition, they called angels. In the Hindu tradition, they called devas. Okay, so basically, Yamraj is a deva. So this is one of the associates of Yamraj. Okay, my teacher Master Chua likes to call them the angel of mercy, because the act that they provide, or the help that they provide to the soul while they're dying, is one of the most merciful acts ever. Okay, that's why they're actually known as the angel of mercy, but you can also call them the angel of death. But don't put them under that connotation of negativity that they are causing death, like the Grim Reaper. They are actually extremely compassionate beings. Without them, most people will be lost in the transition from the physical to the astral realm, because the permanent transition takes time. Now, let's talk about this transition. Everybody goes through a flashback when this is happening. Okay, so as the soul is about to leave the body, okay, the energetic condition changes, the chakral condition changes, the consciousness starts to move upwards into the higher chakras, either the heart chakra or the solar plexus or the crown. Okay, so one of these three chakras is usually the chakra through which the soul transitions, and the angel of mercy helps them. If the person is having extreme emotional turmoil, that means they're struggling, they're scared, and so on, they end up getting polarized with the solar plexus and leave from there, which gives them a very unpleasant experience. This also happens when you sleep. If your solar plexus is active, you're very stressed, if you're very angry, you have an upset stomach, and you end up leaving the body through the solar plexus, you have nightmares or unpleasant dreams. Okay, the better way is to leave through the heart. So it's good to be peaceful, it's good to be calm. That's why, you do some small rituals before you go to sleep, so that you can calm yourself, you can reflect on the day, you can be in a peaceful place, so your dreams and your inner experience can also be pleasant. Okay, the best way to leave is through the crown, and that's what the angel of mercy enables you to do, if you allow it to. Okay, of course you can resist. No, if help is given to you, you can either take the help or you can resist it. So what are you supposed to do? What happens is, the energetic condition changes, and from above, from your higher soul, a certain energy comes down, a certain light comes down. This is the light at the end of the tunnel. Or in a lot of movies, when someone is dying, you say, oh, merge with the light or go to the light. So this is the light that comes from your higher soul. This is your higher soul giving you the opportunity to merge with it, to achieve liberation or to achieve samadhi to a certain extent that we're capable of. Every soul gets this, no matter how amazing you were or how horrible you were. This is the mercy shown to each and every human being. This is the love of God. Okay. So what are we supposed to do? As this energy comes down, the flashback starts. You start living your entire life. Your entire life goes in front of your eyes like a movie. And at this point, what you are supposed to do is just be objective. Don't be egoistical, don't be emotional. They say, okay, I did a lot of good things. Wonderful. I learned these lessons. I was a good person. I did so many nice things. I helped so many people. I took care of my family. I took care of myself, and so on. Then there will also be things that you did that were not so nice. So all you have to do is say, okay, I did this. This was not pleasant. I will not do this anymore. So you have to be objective and reflect, like, okay, these are all the good things. These are all the not so good things, and so on. So I will do my best to avoid doing these things, or I will learn from these mistakes and not repeat them anymore. It's that process. This process can take anywhere between a few minutes to several hours, depending on how much the person resists. Sometimes when somebody comes and tells you, okay, hey, you know what, you said this and it was not nice. And we have the habit of justifying, no, this was right. It was the truth. It was like this, it was like that. No, I'm not wrong. You're wrong. So if you do that, then it prolongs the time. Otherwise, just a few minutes, you live your entire life through. you reflect on it, you understand that, okay, we are good people, but we're not perfect. We don't need to be perfect. So whatever mistakes we did, let's reflect on them. Let's try not to repeat them again. So once that is done, the light becomes brighter, and all you have to do is focus on the light and try to be one with it. Okay. What really helps at this point is something we'll do a little later. Focus your attention on the pineal gland, which is in the center of your head. Okay. So at that moment, you just tune your awareness inwards, let everything happen. If someone is crying in front of you, there's noise, etc., try to tune that out. That's why meditative practices are very helpful. It allows you to tune noises out. Okay. You blend in with the light, and as that happens, you merge with your soul and you achieve a certain degree of samadhi or spiritual liberation. The benefits of that is you transit directly into heaven life, or into a life which is extremely fulfilling, which is beyond the astral plane. Okay, so the astral plane is like a transition. It goes from various experiences and then slowly move on to something called the heaven life. So it gives you a chance to bypass that. Okay. So that's the goal. Now, if the light is missed, doesn't matter. You still end up in hopefully a pleasant place in the astral plane. And then you continue to live life. You have much more freedom than you could have ever imagined. Okay. So what are we supposed to focus on at the time of death? For yourself, or even if you're helping someone, try, if the person you're helping is not been meditating or don't have that much of awareness, you try to maintain peace and quiet in the space. You don't make too much noise, and don't let other people make too much noise. Okay. And then you just play some soothing mantras or soothing music, so it calms the person down. And you sit with them and you guide them mentally to focus on the center of their head. And just guide them that it's okay, just merge with the light, just merge with the light. Continue to do that for some time. According to certain traditions, the head is put towards the south. So the body is turned where the head is facing the south, because that's also the energy that allows the soul to liberate easier. And this is how you can do. At the same time, you can also meditate and do some blessings on them. So the prayer and the blessing that we do now, you can apply the same for them. And you can do the same for yourself. Okay. Now, to give you some brief on what I have experienced and what a lot of my colleagues have also experienced, when the person leaves the body, when the body is considered dead physically, you still have a window period of about 8 to 12 hours, okay, for the process to happen. The flashback, the light and everything, the light that is shining remains for about 8 to 12 hours after the physical death of the body. So it's not that you have to be right there when the person's dying. If you get news that someone has left their body recently, uh, just ask when was it. If it was a few hours ago, you can still help them. And you don't have to be physically present there. Okay? So what is the ritual that you practice at that time? Do you have any questions on what we've covered so far? Shall we move on to the ritual? Or shall we move on to the practice of helping someone who's dying? I'll wait for a few seconds for your questions. If no, we can move on. Great. So this point, I will need your attention, and you will need to be part of the meditation. We will be doing something called the Great Invocation. Okay. The Great Invocation is basically a prayer that is tuning to the light, love, and power energy of God, where we become instruments of bringing down light, love, and power. Okay. I will explain the procedure. It's a little, how do I explain? It's a process. You can also read through it. You can Google it. It's very easy to find. And the process is basically we chant the Great Invocation. It's a prayer. I will chant it out loud. You can mentally chant with me. And as the light starts to descend, or as the energy starts to descend, you'll feel it. You'll notice something changing. you'll notice some movement of energy, or in some cases you might not feel anything also. Okay, but the point is, you chant the great invocation, and then we direct the energy that is generated by this prayer to those people who are leaving their body, or who have left their body in the recent times. This is to help them transition to the higher planes or to higher spaces. Because as we said, if you leave from the solar plexus, which usually happens for all people who are, dying or leaving the body out of sickness, a lot of pain, a lot of agony, or accidents, or sudden deaths, etc. So they end up getting stuck on an unpleasant level. So to help them transition into a place of peace, which is beyond the astral plane, we do the prayer. Okay. So when we recite the great invocation, there are a few things you have to remember. We are going to be doing it as a group. Okay, it's not an individual thing. So energetically, just mentally be aware that even though we're physically away, we are in our own homes, energetically, we're still interconnected. We're still connecting as one, and we do the prayers as one. Okay. The Great Invocation is very simple. It's a prayer, or it has 4 stanzas. The first one is, from the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men, let light descend on earth. Okay. Second stanza is, from the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men, may the great avatar return to earth, or may the great messenger of God return to earth, let love descend on earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend on earth. Okay. So in essence, we actually bring down light of God, the intelligence aspect of God, we bring down to ourselves and share it, spread it to the entire earth. The love aspect of God, spread it to the entire earth. The will aspect of God. The fourth stanza is, from the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out. May it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power descend on earth. Let light, love, and power manifest the plan on earth. Okay. The purpose of this invocation is manifold. Today, we will use the invocation to aid people who have left their body, but you can do this prayer in general just to increase the light, love, and power aspect within you. Especially if you notice there's a lot of confusion in life. Okay, I'm sure all of us go through life, and there are points when there is a lot of confusion. You're not clear about what you want, what you don't want, and you have too many things happening. When you do the great invocation, focus on the light aspect. It brings down light, it brings some clarity, it gives you the clarity of mind and clear thinking in order to do what needs to be done. It gives you guidance. Okay. Whenever you have emotional issues or relationship issues, for example, you're having issues with people, your loved ones, with yourself, your feeling is all over the place. You're not able to feel peace. You're not able to have healthy discussions or talks with someone, okay, or anybody for that matter. You focus on the love aspect of God. Or especially when you're having difficult times and someone really needs you, but you're not able to find it within you to help. But you know that you need to help. You know that that's the right thing to do. You focus on the love aspect. Okay. And times when you're very lazy. No, this is one of the most common problems in most people. If you're not lazy, then that's amazing. Please share with me what you do. But if you're lazy and if you find it difficult to get things done, or you're doing everything, but things are not getting executed too well, then you focus on the power aspect of God, the will aspect of God. Let's say you've decided that I'm going to exercise every day, and you exercise 2 days, and then third, fourth, fifth day, nothing. So you focus on the will aspect of God, or the will aspect of this prayer. If you need all of them, then you focus on all 3 of them. Okay. So shall we begin? The process is going to be very simple. We will do the great invocation. When we do this, I want you all to keep your hands in blessing position. Why? Because the energy comes into us, and from us, we release the energy into the world, into the entire planet. And as we do the great invocation, as we repeat the prayer a couple of times, you will notice more and more energy flows in. Once the flow is established, we will focus on directing the energy into people who have left the body. Okay, it could be due to the pandemic, it could be due to other reasons, may not be COVID, it could be other accidents or ailments and various other situations that must have happened where they ended up leaving the body. Okay, so we will direct the energy there, and we will do a special meditation where once the energy is directed to these people, we will ask them telepathically to follow us. And then we move our attention into our subtle bodies, especially to the center of the head. Okay. Because when we do the great invocation, we bring down light, love, and power. We bring down tremendous divine energy. Okay. This is again representing the descent of the light when the person is dying. So we artificially create that descent. And then you just have to indicate to them, focus here. Because what you do, they end up following. Especially when you have the intention, just do as I'm doing. So they end up following into the center of their head, wherever there is, because they're on the astral plane. There's no physical head, but there's a certain energetic point that still exists. As that happens, the souls will start merging with the light. Okay, and then they will be at peace. If you have people who have left the body this year or in recent times, a few years ago, etc., and if they're still stuck somewhere, or if they're still not at peace, they might just come and say hi to you and say thank you. Okay, do not be scared. What we're doing is an act of service. Okay, do not let your emotions govern you. Do not let fear take over. If you see someone who's deceased and they are liberated today in the process, think of it as an act of service, not an act of fear. Don't be scared. You're actually helping someone out. Okay? So it's not that you're seeing ghosts, you're just seeing your loved ones. Am I clear? So do not be scared. There's no need to be scared, to be honest. So let's start. Hands in blessing position. I want you all to imagine on top of your head a brilliant ball of light. Okay, and also be aware of all the people present here, all the people participating. You just say namaste. The divinity in me salutes the divinity in you. The presence of God in me salutes the presence of God in you. Namaste, namaste, namaste. We are one, we are one, we are one. Inhale and exhale slowly. Be aware of your crown chakra, the top of your head. Be aware of your hands. We will chant the mantra Om 3 times. This is to bring down energy. This is also to help us align. You may mentally chant with me or verbally chant with me. Om. Focus on your crown and your hands. Allow yourself to be an instrument of service, of blessings to flow through. From the point of light within the mind of God, let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. May the minds of all human beings be illumined, be filled with clarity, with discernment and truth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of all human beings. Let love descend on earth. May the great messenger of God return to earth. May the love of God stream forth into the hearts of all human beings. Let there be compassion and mercy. Let there be sweetness, love, joy, and happiness in all. from the center where the will of God is known. Let purpose guide the wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend on earth. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend upon every person, every being. May the thoughts, the words, and the actions of all human beings be characterized by ahimsa, by kindness, by goodwill, and the will to do good. From the center which we call the human race, let the plan of love and light work out. May it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light, love, and power descend on earth. Let light, love, and power manifest the divine plan on earth. Try and be aware of the flow of energy. Allow yourself to be an instrument of divine light, divine love, divine power to flow through you. Be aware or visualize a brilliant light from above flowing into your crown. Waves of love, light flows into your crown, into your head, into your throat, down to your heart, to the heart chakra. Feel the wave of loving energy flowing into your heart, into your entire aura. You may visualize your body surrounded by a brilliant ball of golden light, like a mini sun, radiating love and peace in all directions. Visualize all of us together becoming a brilliant sun, radiating love, light, and peace in all directions. We will focus this radiation of love and peace, these blessings, to all those who have left their body in the recent days, in the recent months, in the recent years. All those who have left their body, all the souls who are in transition, who are in the process of achieving peace. May all of them be blessed with divine light, divine love, divine power. Let light descend upon them. Let love descend upon them. Let goodwill and the will to do good descend upon them. May the light of the soul descend upon them. Feel the lightness in your aura. You may put your hands down, with your palms facing upwards. Keep your attention on the crown chakra and slowly bring your attention down to the center of your head, where the pineal gland is located. We will chant the mantra Om again 3 times. Allow yourself to be at peace. Allow yourself to be experiencing peace, love, and bliss. Om. 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 Be aware that you're surrounded by many, many points of light, many, many souls thanking you and merging with the light, becoming one with their peace. Just allow yourself to keep radiating that energy in all directions. In the process, liberating many, many souls, many, many people who are struggling, who are in trouble. Very gently and lovingly, return to your body, move your fingers, move your hands. Let the energy coming from above spread throughout your entire body. Visualize this light going into your head, your trunk, your arms, and your legs. Visualize your aura becoming brighter, bigger, stronger. May all these energies stabilize and normalize. Once you're done, you may gently open your eyes with a big, big smile. Okay, how is everybody doing? Was it an interesting experience or was it a pleasant experience?
Yeah, it was a very pleasant experience. I always wanted to do this for the souls who have left the body in this pandemic, especially. So I really felt very good. Thank you for enabling us to do this.
Wonderful. Thank you. Would anyone like to share what they experienced, what they felt? It could be anything. Don't worry about articulating it too well. Whatever you experienced, whatever you saw, whatever you felt, you can just share. Don't. There's no right or wrong answer. It's just an experience. Nobody?
It was very calm and soothing. Yeah.
You feel
I felt a current sort of going through me.
okay? Wonderful. That's basically the experience of energy. So when energy moves around, it doesn't. It's like it feels like a tingling sensation around your body.
Correct. Okay.
So yes, wonderful. Did you all, most of you all, I'm sure, would have noticed something, like some energy coming in, going out, and suddenly you start feeling much more calmer, relaxed. And if you're sensitive, it feels much lighter around you. Did you all notice that?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Also, I experienced that at the point where you said you will see many lights around you, many souls. I could feel, I could kind of feel some energies around us. I don't know.
Yes. So it's basically when we're doing the practice, we are basically doing something that is creating certain energies of love, light, peace, and so on. And we are radiating that in all directions. What happens is you vibrate at a very high frequency at this point. It's like that whole impact is that your energy vibrates very, very high. Okay, and when you vibrate high, you become brighter. It's like you're a sun shedding light on all people and all things that are around you. Okay, and especially we directed the blessings to those people who are going through difficult times, no, who are suffering after leaving their body. They're not at peace yet. They are going through something. So what happens is you shed the light at them. It's like moths coming to a flame. So these lights come to you, and as they come closer to you, they start transforming and they get liberated. So think of it this way: when we affirm that we are all doing this as one, energetically, all of us become this one big ball of light. Okay, one small sun radiating brilliant light in all directions. And then when we have that intention to direct this energy for those who are, suffering, the light starts shining upon them. And when that light starts shining upon them, they symbolically move closer to us. And as they come closer to us, the light transforms them. The energy, the blessings that's flowing through us. Remember, we're just instruments, right? So the energy, the blessings flowing through us transforms them, and then they are able to be at peace, or they're able to let go of anything that's holding them back, and they can transition into the higher planes or the higher worlds, something like that. Okay. I don't know if I can, I probably should try to simplify it. So let's think of it this way. Those souls who are stuck somewhere, okay, they're not at peace yet. It's something called purgatory, right? It's like a transitional phase where they are processing things, they are going through stuff, and slowly, steadily, at some point, they will automatically, naturally fall, they will get out of the purgatory and they move on to heaven. In so-called heaven is just symbolic, okay? Don't take it literally, where they experience life at peace and they continue to do other things which are much higher in nature. Okay. So when we do this, we're basically allowing these souls to finish their work that might take them years, sometimes decades, sometimes centuries to achieve. Okay, or a certain time, it takes them a long, long time to work through and then move to the heaven life. We're just giving them a shortcut, or we're just aiding them to do something, be at peace, which normally would have taken them a long, long time. Now, do you realize the kind of blessings that you receive in return? Like when you help someone in such situations, you actually save them several years and years of work and suffering. Or may not be all of them are in a suffering phase, but they're in a place where there's no peace or lack of peace. So you put them into a very good place. That is a huge blessing that you receive as well. That's why if you just take a seat back and relax, you'll notice there's a huge sense of peace. Internally, you're almost transformed. You have so many people transform, what's going to happen to you? That's the law of karma, right? Whatever you give to others, you receive many, many times. So let's take a check whether this actually made a difference. I want you all to just close your eyes and observe your inner state. How many of you notice that your mind is clear, calm, like not almost no thoughts? Yes? Do you think this state is very easy to achieve for a lot of people? Right? Like most people spend years and years meditating, trying to achieve thoughtlessness. Okay, and we are there right now. Though it doesn't discard their efforts, it's just that you help so many people right now. Maybe we can't even understand the gravity of it, but we did aid several people to be at peace. So of course, what you get in return is a lot of peace. Okay, so this is actually the law of karma in action. All right. So I think with this, we come to the close of our session. Like, if you all have questions, if you have something to ask, you can.
So, Omkar, how long does a body stay in the astral plane after death?
It can range from anywhere between a few hours to a few centuries. So, for example, a spiritual disciple who has been practicing, for example, if you keep practicing helping others and also meditations and so on, and you know that, okay, when the light shines, you need to merge with it, right? As we reflected earlier, or we learned earlier, you have a reflection of your entire life, and there's a light that shines. If you merge with the light, you stay in the astral plane for a few minutes. Maybe you completely bypass it. Okay. But if in a normal range, for example, for a normal person, if you don't have anything special happening at that point and you don't merge with the light, it can range from a few, several decades. For example, if your physical life is 70, 80 years old, you will end up spending another 70, 80 years there, but not necessarily in suffering. So probably the way I presented it might not have been very accurate. Not everyone who's stuck in the astral plane is suffering. Okay. There is also a lot of pleasant happiness there. There's also a lot of joy. There's a lot of normal work happening in the astral plane also. What we directed the blessings to is for those who are in the normal space, but also those who are especially suffering. Because if you're in this category of suffering, usually it takes centuries for you to get out of it.
Okay. When you were doing the Kriya, you had these four thoughts, which you say, which you recited in English. Is there a Sanskrit or a Hindi version of the same thing?
There can be. There are translations to it. But what you can, if you want to look at it, you can search for the Great Invocation. It is known as the Great Invocation. It was given by certain spiritual teachers during after the First World War, sometime in the early 1900s. The whole goal was that the invocation is propagated and spread far and wide, so that the World War II could have been avoided. But clearly, it did not avoid that because it wasn't popular enough.
Okay.
But yes, you can translate the words into Hindi, Sanskrit, Marathi, Gujarati, whichever. The goal is to understand the essence of the words, and then you can translate it.
So where does the origin come from? Is it?
Bell has come. Your lunch has come. Just come out, huh? He's giving his paper. I'm doing this. That guy's in the kitchen.
Meghna, I think you need to go on silent.
Yes, please mute yourself, Meghna.
So, Gautam, to answer that question, the origin of this was from the Theosophical Society. So there is this writer called Alice A. Bailey who wrote several books on theosophy. This is quite recent. This is not an ancient prayer.
Okay.
Several prayers that are ancient in nature. For example, the Gayatri Mantra, the Mrityunjay Mantra, and so on. These are ancient prayers which have their own special qualities. Right? In this process, you can also do the Mrityunjay Mantra. You can also use other mantras. What we did was something very simple and English because everybody gets it.
Right.
But you can adjust the prayers accordingly. But I think the special thing you need to focus on is when you do these activities, remember that you're an instrument. The moment you think you are doing this by yourself, the ego comes in and the amount of energy flowing through you reduces. As long as you remember that you're an instrument and there are greater sources of energy, your energy becomes almost limitless. So you can end up helping a lot more.
Right.
So that is one essence. And of course, you direct the blessing, you direct the energy on the right path. So these are the two things I would recommend that you focus on whenever you do it. But yeah, you don't have to follow the great invocation as it is. You can change it to some other prayers and mantras as well. So the great invocation has its own benefits. So do the other prayers.
Hi. So Omkar, I have one question. And see, I think in any religion, in every, beside, I think the philosophy of Muslim is different, but it says that, that the soul never dies and it finds another body, right? So
Yeah.
when you mention about, you go to the state, okay, astral state, and then you can stay into the, even centuries also. So you mean to say that, okay, the soul which has not find the body that till that process, or how do I consider that?
That's a wonderful question. I will have to articulate the answer. So give me a second.
Yeah.
So think of it this way: you have the soul, which is your consciousness. Okay, we call this the incarnated soul or the Jivatma. in Sanskrit. Then there is the higher soul or the Atma. Okay, beyond the higher soul, there's the Paramatma or the divine spark that we speak in English. Okay, what we end up doing is, as you go to the astral plane, you're still the incarnated soul. You're still at the level of the incarnated soul. When you move on further from the astral plane, you, to a certain extent, merge with your higher soul. Okay, this is the process. Once you merge with the higher soul, then a new body is selected, and then you reincarnate. So it's a process. So the astral plane, if you live in the astral plane for centuries, at some point, every soul will move past it. They merge back with the higher soul. It's just that the time frame for each person could be different. Like for some people, they might merge immediately. That's samadhi. They immediately merge with the light and they merge with the higher soul. And then within a few weeks, few months, few years, they can reincarnate or get another body and come back. Whereas in some cases, they might end up spending too much time in the astral plane, then they merge with the higher soul, and then they might come back. So that also varies. According to Theosophy, the general timeline between incarnations is almost 800 to 1500 years. So it's not immediate, but then there are exceptional cases where it happens almost immediately also. So there is exceptions, but general condition is it takes a while for you to merge and reincarnate. So do you understand the value that we add when we did the practice today? For those people who might take another 800,000, 1,500 years to be able to merge with the light and then find another body, incarnate, and continue with their evolution, we sped that up by a lot of time. So we saved them a lot of time. That's why the blessings in return was of deep inner peace. This is thanks for the question, but this also allows us to understand the value of the work that we do today.
I've got a question. What if you don't want to reincarnate? Is there something like moksha, that is, you don't get into the cycle of birth and death?
Yes. So to answer the question, it's not something that you do by choice. You can't choose whether you want to reincarnate or not. Moksha is achieved when you achieve perfection. Like for example, the Lord Buddha achieved his great illumination or his moksha, where he does not have to incarnate again. This is usually what happens to the word given in English is holy masters. So, or like a soul, when you achieve a certain degree of high degree of character building, you are a great soul. That's when you get the choice of achieving moksha. But for most people, we can keep trying for it. That's the goal, because every soul that as we incarnate, there's a thirst for moksha. Everybody would have experienced this at some point. But it's not something that you can choose. It's something that you have to earn.
And how do you earn that? By doing good karmas? That's it?
And by becoming more godlike. Remember, as we said earlier, light, love, and power is a manifestation of God. So as we increase and improve our love aspect, that means you're more kind, you're more loving, generous, the more improving your light aspect, that means you become more intelligent, you become more truthful, more honest, you perceive things the way they are, you become more willful. That means you're not lazy anymore. You are regular with your practices, your duties, your responsibilities. You go out there and help people. You become an embodiment of God. That's when you become one with God.
Oh.
Like a simple logic, like attracts like, the law of attraction, right? When you keep thinking of something or the kind of person that you are, you end up attracting similar people.
Sure.
That's why they say ki, if you want to know someone, know their friends. So when you become more godlike, do you think you'll attract God, or He will attract you and He merges with you? In layman terms. So when you become more godlike, you become one with God, and that's what we talk about, moksha or nirvana, where you leave the body and you never have to come back.
Yeah.
You're free from the cycle of birth and rebirth. That is for all of us, but you don't have to worry about it. It'll happen naturally. These are things that you let things happen naturally. If you keep forcing it, then you actually push yourself away from it even more.
Right. Thank you.
Okay.
Any more questions? I think, Omkar, this has been a fantastic session. It's been 1.5 hours, and I think this can yet go on. It's such a wonderful topic that we've touched upon today. So enlightening and so different that really opened our minds up to a very, very different plane, is what I would say. So thank you very much for this. Can I request Temina to give the vote of thanks, please? Wonderful session today, Omkar.
Thank you.
So I think thank you, Smita and Omkar. This is really wonderful. I have experienced a lot. No doubt, I love reading the spiritual aspect and the cycle of life and death, which is something which is not in the hand of anyone. Whatever we do in this life, we try to say that okay, we will achieve this thing and that thing, but this is something which we cannot achieve that and like a life. So I think it's good thing you taught us that at least some of the pranic healing we can help people having death into the very painful way, and somewhere we can help them. So this is also a wonderful exercise you have made us to do. I have experienced great way, and I'm sure all of the members will have great experience. So thank you so much, and God bless you. And your name is Omkar, which is basically in a Hindu, they say that the Shiv Bhagwan comes when you actually in the process of dying. So I think you are doing great job. You are doing really great job. And thank you, Jessica. This is wonderful, and you have did a great job to introduce Omkar. And all of us, I think I have experienced a lot, and I'm sure all of us have experienced a great thing after this session. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tamina. A small announcement from my side. On the 26th of January, we'll be having our medical camp, a mega medical camp near Jamburi Medan at BDD Chol. So, guys, since it's a red zone area, a lot of COVID cases there right now, we would like your support in spirit, and it would not be very advisable for us to go there right now. So kudos to the doctors of Wokhar Hospital who are going to be there and who are going to be conducting this entire camp on our behalf. Uh, can I request Tejal to give the secretarial announcements, please?
Yeah, thank you, Smita. We had about 30 logins today, and the next meeting is the club assembly on the 28th of January. See you all there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Jessica and Samir. It was awesome. Omkar, thank you very much. Now, the meeting is now adjourned. Bye-bye, everybody. Thanks
Bye-bye.
for on Sunday. It was all of you all.